Biomed Nexus. Daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Sanofi, SMY, reported mixed Phase 2 results for lunsekimig, a bispecific nanobody targeting TSLP and IL-13. The drug met primary and key secondary endpoints in moderate to severe asthma, aircules, and chronic rhinosinusitis with nasal polyps, DUET, but missed its primary endpoint in atopic dermatitis, VELVET. Jefferies forecasts 3B in peak sales from respiratory indications alone. AbbVie has listed Humira on TrumpRx at an 86% discount, according to media reports, as part of its deal with the White House to avoid Section 232 pharmaceutical tariffs. This is the clearest public example yet of how the tariff framework is driving pricing concessions. Foundayo, or Forglipron, continues its early commercial rollout. Lilly direct shipping is underway, with retail pharmacy and telehealth expansion ongoing. Medtech financing in Q1 2026 reached 854B, down modestly from 933B in Q1 2025, but well above the 645B recorded in Q1 2024, according to BioWorld data. Executive takeaway Sanofi's Dupixent franchise generated nearly $18 billion in 2025 revenue, and the company has been building a pipeline of successor candidates to protect that franchise as competition intensifies. Lunsekimig, a bispecific that simultaneously blocks TSLP and IL-13, is one of the most important assets in that pipeline. Tuesday's Phase 2 results tell a clear story. The drug works in respiratory indications, asthma and nasal polyps, but not in eczema. That narrows lunsekimig's commercial scope, but doesn't kill it. Sanofi already has lunsekimig in 2 Phase 3 COPD studies and a Phase 2 study in high-risk asthma. The respiratory path is intact. Jefferies analyst Michael Leuchten maintained a $3 billion peak sales forecast based on respiratory positioning alone. The eczema miss matters because it means lunsekimig won't directly replace Dupixent's largest revenue stream. Sanofi will need amlitelimab, another pipeline candidate currently in Phase 3 for atopic dermatitis, to carry that load. Meanwhile, AbbVie putting Humira on TrumpRx at an 86% discount is the tariff framework doing exactly what it was designed to do, converting the threat of 100% tariffs into concrete pricing concessions. Read full analysis. What to watch? Sanofi respiratory data presentations. Detailed lunsekimig results from ARQs and DUET will be presented at upcoming medical congresses. The magnitude of the exacerbation reduction in asthma and the lung function improvements will determine competitive positioning against Dupixent, AstraZeneca's tezepelumab, and other biologics. Foundayo commercial ramp, Lilly's oral GLP-1. Weinthiol is now in its first full week of commercial availability. Watch for initial TRX data over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Tariff pricing. Cascade, AbbVie's 86% Humira discount on TrumpRx sets a precedent. Expect more companies to list products at steep discounts as the July 31 tariff-effective date approaches for large companies. Sanofi amlitelimab. Filing. Sanofi is targeting an atopic dermatitis filing for amlitelimab in 2026. With lunsekimig now out of the eczema picture, the pressure on amlitelimab to deliver increases significantly. Clinical and research updates. Sanofi's lunsekimig hits in asthma and nasal polyps, misses in eczema. Why what happened? Sanofi reported Phase 2 results across 3 studies of lunsekimig, a bispecific nanobody composed of 5 linked antibody fragments designed to simultaneously block TSLP and IL-13, 2 inflammatory drivers of respiratory and skin disease. The results were mixed. Aircules, Phase 2b, asthma. Met primary endpoint. Lunsekimig demonstrated a statistically significant and clinically meaningful reduction in asthma exacerbations at 48 weeks and improved lung function, pre-bronchodilator, FEV1, versus placebo. Benefits were observed regardless of biomarker status, suggesting potential for broader patient populations beyond the eosinophilic phenotype that current biologics target. Duet, Phase 2a, chronic rhinosinusitis with nasal polyps. Met primary endpoint. Lunsekimig reduced nasal polyp scores from baseline at week 24 and met key secondary endpoints, including nasal congestion, obstruction, and CT-measured sinus disease burden. Velvet, Phase 2b, atopic dermatitis. Missed primary endpoint. Lunsekimig did not achieve a significant reduction in eczema severity, EASI score. However, improvements were seen in secondary endpoints, including skin clearance, EASI 75, and investigator global assessment. Safety was generally well tolerated across all 3 studies with an acceptable safety profile. Detailed results are being held for upcoming medical congresses. Executive impact. This is a clarifying readout to Sanofi's post-Dupixent strategy. Lunsekimig is being positioned primarily as a respiratory franchise, and the asthma and CRSwNP wins support that path. Sanofi already has Lunsekimig in Phase 3 for COPD, Persephone and Theseus studies, and Phase 2 for high-risk asthma, Olympus. Jefferies analyst Michael Leuchten forecasts 3B in peak annual sales from respiratory indications alone. Sanofi's R&D chief Houman Ashrafian called the respiratory data promising and said it supports the dual targeting mechanism of Lunsekimig. The eczema miss was not unexpected. Leerink Partners had previously flagged limited evidence of synergistic TSLP-L13 benefit in atopic dermatitis, but it does mean Sanofi is now relying more heavily on amlitelimab, anti-OX40L, Phase 3 in AD, filing targeted 2026, and itepekimab, anti-IL-33, Phase 3 in COPD, CRSwNP, to protect the broader Dupixent franchise. Policy and Public Health AbbVie lists Humira on TrumpRx at 86% discount ABBV. What happened? AbbVie has listed Humira on TrumpRx, the administration's direct-to-consumer drug pricing platform, at an 86% discount, according to media reports cited by Biospace. The move is part of AbbVie's agreement with the White House to secure tariff exemptions under the Section 232 Pharmaceutical Tariff Framework. Executive impact. This is the tariff structure working as designed. The Section 232 proclamation offers a 0% tariff rate through January 2029 for companies that enter into both MFN pricing agreements with HHS and onshoring agreements with commerce. Listing drugs on TrumpRx at steep discounts is one component of those MFN deals. An 86% discount on Humira, a drug that has already lost significant revenue to biosimilar competition, is a relatively low-cost concession for AbbVie compared to the alternative of facing 100% tariffs on its entire patented portfolio. Expect more companies to follow as the July 31st and September 29th tariff effective dates approach. The week ahead. Now, Foundayo or Forglipron, commercial rollout expanding. April, Novo Nordisk, Wegovy, HD US launch continues. April, Heart Rhythm 2026 Conference, 2026. Sanofi amlitelimab filing, targeted for atopic dermatitis, Q2, 2026. Gilead Tubulis, Gilead Arcellx, Biogen Apellis, closes expected within 90 days. Neurocrine Soleno, close expected. Read, full analysis, Biomed Nexus Pro, Institutional Intelligence Brief in today's Pro Brief. Sanofi's post-Dupixent playbook. What the Lunsekimig results mean for the 3-candidate strategy to protect an 18B franchise tariff pricing cascade. Why AbbVie's 86% Humira discount is the template for every MFN deal to follow respiratory biologic landscape. How Lunsekimig positions against tezepelumab, Dupixent, and emerging competitors. Updated catalyst calendar. Upgrade to Pro. Today, read, full article selective. 2026 sponsorship placements are available. Reply directly to discuss a partnership or submit an inquiry here.